Hello, beautiful soul. How you been? How you doing? How you feeling? I'm so happy to be here. This is Erica Ristovsky, psychic medium, healer, and guide. And I wanted to talk about how sensitive you consider yourself or how intuitive you consider yourself. I used to consider myself very, very sensitive, extremely sensitive to the point of consider that a curse in my life because it felt so overwhelming. It felt like I was carrying the weight of everybody in my shoulders. And it took me years and years during my teenage years to develop practices to really help me unwind those energies and release them out of my energetic field because I was carrying them with me everywhere to the point where it was difficult to sleep, to the point that I was afraid of going to bed because these forces or these energies and these entities will come to me, and there was a lot of information and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to channel that. I didn't know how to like make them go away. It was just very, very concerning for me. And through my years of practice back in the days, I started my journey. Wow, now more than over 20 years ago, in my 17s, I went to my first spiritual retreat. And it was eye-opening for me because at that time I was alone. And growing up in Colombia, you didn't have much support and people didn't talk about these topics as much as we do today. So finding other people like me was a blessing because I was like, oh my gosh, that's the moment that I learned and understood what a medium was and considered myself a medium because at that time I didn't know. I was just like, I'm just crazy. I just abnormal. It's just like, what am I experiencing and others don't? So it felt very isolated. It felt very difficult and I had very difficult time growing up because of my extreme sensitivity. Well, now I consider it a blessing because I work with many, many, many clients around the globe to support and to unlock their intuition and connect deeper to it so that they don't consider it any longer a curse or something bad in their life or something that can take over their life, and they understand it and they lean into it and learn how to not control it is not a word, but how to manage their own intuition, and they don't have to carry other people's burdens and they don't have to carry other people's weight. When we have this sensitivity, either means that you are an old soul, an intuitive, an indigo, a star seed, a being of divine light that comes with a mission to help support the collective with your vibration. You come with a lot of codes and information that is gonna support just through being, nothing additional, nothing extra, rather than you just being. You don't have to be in service and supporting clients and things like that, if only if you really want to and it resonates with you, but through your being, because we have this incredible energetic field around us that even though it's invisible, we share it wherever we go, we share it with people where we live, where we stay, with our family, with our circles. So through being, you had that individual energetic template, and through being, you're making that accessible to others. Just think about downloading a file on the cloud or downloading information on the cloud so that you can make it accessible to the people in your that have access to it around you. So it kind of works the same way in quantum terms. So when we work on ourselves, when we really connect with our intuition, when we're in alignment with who we're meant to be, with our divine purpose, that has a specific frequency of excitement or joy, of calmness, of balance, of centeredness that it can be picked up by others energetically, even if they don't know you, right? Like the cashier when you're going to places, like things like that. So why it's so important to work on your intuition is because that is our divine right. That's who we are. The problem becomes when we start feeling separate from it, when we start feeling that, oh, that's only accessible to certain individuals, only mediums, clairvoyants, like psychics, and people like that, but no me. That is a lie, because in essence we all have the energetic structure to connect to our intuition. It's just sometimes we have that aspect of us dormant, and it requires kind of like awakening and deepening that connection to it. It's natural to us. We all have it at different degrees. And it's just kind of like when you go to school, right? And you pass the grades and you move to another level and to other level and to other level and to other level. It kind of how it is, because when you receive intuitively something, for example, most people, they have a knowing, they have a feeling, a friend inviting them to something, and they just start feeling like stomach ache, they start feeling uneasy, or they just develop a headache out of the blue, and they're like, wait a minute, but like, why is my body acting up? Like, what is happening? If you really take the time to drop into that, because it's just information, and instead of like, oh, I'm just gonna take a pill and go and like try to do it and da 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 da, or like fears forced to do it because you already committed to it and you don't want to look bad. Instead of that, and you're dropping into, okay, what is happening here? What am I aware of? What is my body trying to tell me? Use that as an opportunity to receive information from your body and from the field, and something is going to come up, maybe an idea, maybe a thought, maybe like, maybe I just don't feel like going. If you're really honest with yourself, you know who's going, you know who's going to be involved, you know what it's going to take. So ask yourself those deeper questions. And more times than not, when people ask those questions and they decide not to, it ends up being the most supportive for them. But because we feel certain obligation towards people and stuff, that people pleaser in us, that really kind of make us bypass our own knowing. And many times, if we do, like, we find ourselves in situations that we're not really supported of, just go home and have that sense of heaviness and feeling drained and feeling even more tired than before. So, few ways to start tapping more into intuition is to knowing yourself, to knowing your energetic baseline. So, asking in the morning when you wake up, and checking like your awareness of your physical body, how you're feeling, how you're being, and knowing what it is like to be in that energy, to be completely going inwards, checking in with your senses, if anything is tight and anything is hurting, or you have some thoughts. Are those thoughts yours? Or you copy from somebody, or you like received them from somebody and you took them as your own? So that's the first step, to start discerning when is something yours and when it's not. So once you start understanding your own energy, you can start discerning when it's not, and there is steps and there is things that we can do to clear it. I teach in my practice, all my clients know this, like 3 steps for clearing it. This is super, super easy. Anybody can do it. It doesn't take longer than 2 minutes. Yay! So the first step will be to ground ourselves. So below the soles of our feet, we have these energetic centers that help us naturally drain what is not ours. This help us replenish our energy and help us feel more grounded throughout the day. Many of us are not aware of this. So a way to start activating them, is to visualize in your mind's eye cords, cables, roots, anything that really goes down all the way to the earth, to start connecting you deep down to the core of the earth for further transmutation. The earth itself supports us through our journey of elevation. So it helps us transmute everything that is not supportive. So when you're draining, the earth has mechanisms that transmute that energy into another energy form. So you don't have to worry about what's going to happen with that energy, where it's going. That's the first step. Develop your cords, your cables, your roots down below, and you are firm on the ground. The second step, I invite you to visualize in your mind an element of your choosing. It could be fire, water, air, and visualize it so powerful around you. And if it's like a cascade of water, just like following on you and removing any energetic debris that doesn't serve you. And you're breathing there for a few moments till you feel complete. What I like to add on this step is a quantum code that I learned from my beautiful mentor, Alyssa Melhorn, and is return to sender, return to rightful owner, with love and consciousness attached. So that way, sometimes people are just sending you projections or thought forms and things of this form, and they're not doing it consciously. They're not consciously trying to harm you. But because we are kind of like porous light beings that we want to support the collective, we take on a lot of other people's stuff naturally. So a way to just return it to sender, return it back to owner with love and consciousness, because at the first place they didn't have the consciousness that they were doing it. And we want to give it back a little bit more upgraded so that they can receive it in a lighter form, hopefully. And then it doesn't matter, you don't have to also know who is sending it, who is coming from, none of that. That's just stories, and you really don't want to get invested in stories. Just return to sender, return to rightful owner with love and consciousness attached. Let it dissolve, let it wash away, let it burn away, whatever element you are using for this purpose. Then the last step will be to invite divine, clear light to kind of create this armor around you of light, around your aura, around your spirit, of support, kind of like a soothing balm of protective energy all around you. And I also like to include upgrade your light quotient to 100%, because that light quotient is very individual to each one of us. So you just want to make it the most supportive for you, and just notice how you feel. It's kind of like a reset in the energy. I recommend people to do it in the morning. I recommend them to do it also before they go to bed, after a busy day, whatever you have been, all these things, so that you can go with a clear energy into your sleep time. So this is a great practice, because then you start understanding what is your energy, your baseline. And then you start getting more perceptive when something feels weird, when something feels dense, when something is happening that you're like, wait a minute, what is this? And that is your opportunity to start paying attention and asking those questions. And it only takes a minute of just kind of tuning in those extra senses around you. And the practice that I like to do is just like closing my eyes. I expand my awareness through my heart. So imagining that my heart is getting bigger and wider, more open, as I'm perceiving kind of like detective waves of energy just going in all directions. And I ask myself, what am I aware of? What am I aware of? When something feels off, when something feels different, when something is just trying to get your attention, sometimes is people tell me all the time, like, oh, I just feel like weird things like happening, like moving behind me. I see like shadows, like what is that? Like, oh my gosh. And they get so fearful. And my intention is for you to not to be fearful. Just you're in control, you're protected, you're a divine being of light, and asking those questions like, what am I aware of? And if it doesn't feel so good, well, invite into the light. Sometimes there are airbound entities. Sometimes they just need a little support. And through your own prayers, you can also support it and guide them through the light. So asking those questions is really important, because that connects you deeper and deeper to the truth of who you are, to an intuitive, beautiful being of divine light. And when you do, life gets to be more fun, because you also get downloads, intuitive nudges of like, oh, maybe I should do this. And it feels exciting, it feels expansive, it feels fun. Like an idea just dropped for you, something about your business, something about an implementation of something that will like up level you big time. And when you do, there's like astronomical growth and abundance and joy and fulfillment in all the ways. So intuition is not only to find out whose density is what and what is happening, it also to propel you forward in your journey. So that is a great use to use our, what I call it now, it's a superpower, because I used to believe that it was a curse. It used to be overwhelming. It used to be too much. I just didn't know what to do with it. I just had this higher awareness that it was too much to bear. But through working with mentors and working with healers to kind of fine tune my own gifts, then I learned to understand that it's really a superpower, because it propels us forwards once we learn how to use it. We all come with it, but we sometimes don't know how to use it. And my invitation for you is like, well, try some of these practices And if not, just find somebody that you feel comfortable with to help you dive deeper and connect to your own intuition. You don't want people to give you answers. You don't want like mediums to tell you what to do. What choice should I make? Oh, I'm at this crossroad. Which road should I go? Right, left, front? You know deep down. And my mission and my purpose is to support all souls to connect to that truth of who they are, their intuition, and change their lives completely. I used to be depressed. I used to be so shy. There's so many things that I have overcome in my life because I was able to lean into my that inner guidance of like, okay, maybe I take this approach and I make this choice. Is this choice brought monumental change? And then this other choice brought even more change and more expansion. It's not linear, we think. If it's just getting better and better and better and better, well, life is like this, right? We know that. But the moment that we start trusting it, the moment that we start believing ourselves, and I get many people contact me from all over the world that I just don't know what to do. I feel this desire to move abroad, but I don't know what to do first. It's too much and my brain cannot take it. I don't know what choice to make. It's like people get overwhelmed, but they have those deep desires within them and they're like, I don't know why I have this desire and I don't know what to do with it. Well, just sit down, buckle up, and relax because you don't have to do it all at once. How it really works is a one step leads to another and another and another. We don't get the whole roadmap on how things are going to lay out. It's just trusting that unfolding, trusting that you will get, if you move, if you take the actions, every step of the way, you're going to be shown by you, the director of your life, the next step and the next step and the next step, because it's going to come to you intuitively, it's going to come to you naturally, and that is also going to draw to you the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments in your life that are going to help you get there. It's not going to happen all at once. It happens in increments when you start trusting it, when you start leaning into it, so that you get a little bit more like, oh, this looks right and this looks right. And all of a sudden, when you're not trying, when you're not thinking, you find yourself at the place and the time and space that it feels like the most important, beneficial for you, the most fun, the most aligned, because that's how it is. We're not trying hard. We're just allowing. We're just allowing the unfolding to show us the way, and we're trusting it as we go. So my invitation for you is to just delete and create all of that ideas that you have that, oh, I'm just too sensitive, I'm just too this, it's too much, it's too overwhelming, da 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 da. We all have it for a reason. That's who we are. Just learn to use it. Just tune in, fine tune your skills, fine tune that connection, and your life is gonna change in the most miraculous way. So that is my invitation for you. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And subscribe if you would like more content like this. Sending so much love your way. And I talk to you. Till next time. Bye now.